You got a friend, family member, they contact you and they say, I need to borrow $500 or my rent is late. Can you help me? I need to borrow this money and I'll pay you back when I get my taxes. Or I'll pay you back when I get paid. Or I'll pay you back in 1 month. 1 month comes, the taxes come, the pay period then pass, and they still ain't give you back your damn money. And to make it worse, you just saw them on Facebook living up. They were living it up. They traveling. But when you ask them when you ask them to give you back your money, they get a fucking attitude. Can you look? Now y'all have been in this situation, right? You lent them the money when they were down and out. They called you. They blew up your phone. Can I borrow it? Remember, can I get it from you? They get the money from you. All of a sudden, you call them. They don't pick up the phone. They were calling you before. Now that they have to pay you back the money, they busy. Oh, let me text you. But they didn't. Well, hell, you wasn't texting me when you needed the money. Now, on the other side of this, people are evasive. They use text as a means of avoiding a difficult conversation. What we're going to talk about today is how do you lend money to someone, to a friend or family member, in a way that will not compromise your finances, but also in a way that will not compromise or damage the relationship that you have with that person. All right. So I'm going to give you some tips, because lending money to friends and family can be a very tricky situation. Now, before I get into the tips, let me tell you all this. Sometimes you put yourself in a position for people to ask you for money. If people do not think you have any money, they're not going to ask you. If they think you broke, they're not going to ask you. So the number one thing, which is actually not one of the tips that I'm going to go over today, but it's really a practical thing, is not letting people in your pockets. Stop telling folks how much you make. Stop telling folks your financial business, because as soon as they get in a situation where they need money, you're going to be the first one they ask if they're a friend or family member. I'm just telling you how it works. And the more money they think you have, the more they're going to ask for. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. So how do you lend money to friends and family? First tip, make sure you can actually afford to lend them the money in the first place. You never lend your bill money, right? If you are barely scraping by yourself, you don't need to be lending them any money. If you are both on a sinking ship and you have a life vest, now you on a sinking ship, assuming it's you and another person, why are you gonna give them your life vest? What sense does that make? So you got to make sure you're taking care of your own bills first, not putting yourself in a bad situation, because this is what will happen. Okay, because you might be able to afford to lend it to them now, but you don't know what your situation is going to be next month. You don't know what your situation is going to be in 2 months. And so this is another thing that happens. You will lend the money based on your excess today, right? You're doing well today. You're saving. You're paying your bills, all your stuff is paid, you got the extra money to lend. But as soon as your fortunes change, you start looking for money. And you go back to that person and say, when you gonna pay me back my money? So what you also have to think about is not just your current financial situation when you're lending the money, but what might your financial situation be in 2 months. So first thing is, do not lend people your bill money. If you cannot afford to do it, don't do it. I will not run you down for money that you owe me. I don't do that. But I will make sure that you give me back my money. And the way that you can protect yourself is before you lend it, especially when we're talking about large sums of money, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. They ass need to sign something for that kind of money. Make sure you have them sign an agreement. Guess what? Because when they sign that agreement and you get it notarized, you're going to give me back my money, because what folks will do is they will prioritize everything else over giving you back the money that you lent to them. They will go out, they'll spend money, they'll go to Macy's, they'll shop, they be on Amazon buying all kind of shit, but then they owe you money. So the second thing you need to do is you need to set clear expectations and terms and make sure you are signing that agreement with them. Third thing is, it is a business transaction, so you need to treat it as a business transaction. What do I mean by that? Here's another thing. I'm going to touch on a couple of things. Number one, is this a responsible individual that you would actually go into business with? That's number one. Because if you don't trust them enough to go into business with them, do you trust them enough to pay your bills for you on time? Are they a responsible person? Because if the answer to that question is no, then you don't need to be lending them any money. Because if they are irresponsible in every area of their life, in how they manage their finances, how they manage their relationship, they don't even be on time for work. You actually be looking at them knowing that they don't even be on time for work. But then when they get in a financial bind, they're looking for somebody to help them out of a bind. A lot of times people are in the situations that they're in because of things that they've done that have compounded over time. And when people put themselves in situations, it is not your responsibility to help them out of that situation necessarily. Life is a journey that must be lived. Life is a journey with many lessons, and nobody can walk that journey for you. And it's not your responsibility in every situation to help them out. You might even have the money to help them, but based on their character, based on how they are managing their own life, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you lent them money. Now all of a sudden there's hard feelings. And guess what? People develop amnesia. And what they'll do is they'll flip it around on you and they'll say, well, you remember, I helped you out of that situation. And so now it turns into this whole thing of them trying to manipulate and all of this kind. No, we two different people. I paid you back your money on time before, in fact, the time that I was supposed to pay you back. You don't operate that way. So we two different people. Don't allow them to guilt you into lending them money if, in fact, you know that they are not a responsible person. So treat it as a business transaction. Here's the other thing you want to do. You also need to be open, communicate with them, right? If there is a promissory note, which you've already talked about, you signing an agreement, do not be afraid to reach out to them about money that they owe you. It is okay to send them a text message. Hey, so-and-so, you're supposed to pay me back next Friday. Are you going to still pay me back next Friday? I just want to make sure. I just want to send you a quick reminder. Do that. I don't care who it is. And a lot of times we don't do that because we don't want to basically create any awkwardness. But baby, the awkwardness was there when you asked me for money in the first place. So now we're already down this journey. So we're going to continue down this journey. I'm going to send you a reminder text message. Are you going to be able to pay me back next Friday? That's just how you have to do it, because again, people treat you how you allow them to treat you. And if they realize, they think that you done forgot about it and all that, because that's why a lot of times people don't pay you back. You're too lackadaisical with how you give them the money. When you sign a promissory note, when you're sending communications with them, you're sending them a text message, and this is a lot of times what they'll do. They'll say, oh, I didn't get your text message, but hell, you got all the other damn text messages when you was asking me to lend you the money, but now it's time to but see, we're not gonna worry about that, because guess what? You've already signed the promissory note. So if you don't pay me back, I'm gonna take you to court, and I'm either gonna put a lien on your bank account, or I'm gonna be garnishing your paycheck. So baby, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Your choice. See, this is how you do this. Make sure you follow up, communicate with them, send them a reminder, because what they'll say, oh, I forgot.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. My bad. I had some.
No, You ain't gonna be able to use that as an excuse, because I'm gonna send you a reminder 3 days before you have to pay me back. And then here's the last thing. Be prepared for the consequences. Okay? And Here's why I always say, if you cannot afford to lend it or give it, do not lend it. If you can't afford to give it, don't lend it, because lending money, borrowing money, people not being responsible, people not being consistent, people not keeping their word is the number one reason why money causes conflict in relationships. So what you have to think about before you lend money is there's a possibility that this person is not going to pay me back. Are you okay with having an awkward relationship with that person if they don't pay you back? If you're not okay with that, then you probably need to tell them no. I'm just telling you, people will change on you after you have lent them money, you helped them out of a bind, and then all of a sudden they act like you're bothering them over your shit that you lent to them. No, you owe me money. What is wrong with me? And then they have,
give me time, give me, how much, what the fuck you talking about? You borrowed my money.
But when I send you a reminder text message, so this is why, let's go back again. Make sure they sign an agreement. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your son. I don't care if it's your daughter. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy. I don't care who it is. Now, if you don't enforce it, that's your choice. Okay? Now, I'm probably being a little extreme to say mama and daddy, but y'all get my point, right? Money is one of the leading causes of relationships being compromised. People are not able to communicate about money. They're not able to navigate those relationships. And this is why I'm making this video, because I can talk to you about generational wealth, retirement planning, creating a budget, but none of those things happen in a vacuum. Those things happen in most cases in context of your relationships that you have in your life with family members, with friends. And so being able to navigate those relationships, have those difficult communications, right, up front, being able to understand the consequences of people not living up to their side of the agreement. You need to know that all up front before you say yes to lending them money. So again, make sure that you are formalizing the agreement, setting clear expectations and terms. Do not lend money that you cannot afford to give, and be prepared for the consequences, because I'm gonna tell you, people have a way of changing on you when they get some money in their hands. That's all I got for you today. This was a shorter video than I was thinking it was gonna be. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and all social media channels, Black Wealth Company. If you're interested in a free consultation, you can visit us at blackwealthcompany.com or go to the appointment link somewhere around this video, blackwealth.as.me, and we will love to get you together. But again, this is Jerry Gordon, President and CEO of the Black Wealth Company, where Black Wealth is our business.